Hello guys, welcome to the show. It's your boy, A Truth Will Set You Free. Hashtag SFTS, search for the symbols. I want to give a shout out to all my supporters, everybody who subscribed, everybody who hit that like button, everybody who leave me comments. I thank y'all, I appreciate y'all so much, and thank y'all for your support. There's no me without you, and I cannot express it enough.
Hello guys, welcome back to the show. It's your boy, A Truth Will Set You Free. Just want to let you know, there's no me without you, and I cannot express it enough. Alright guys, this video is going to be about the Jurassic 5. If you didn't know who these guys are, Charlie Tuna, AkiltheMc, Mark 7, Soup Love, and DJ Newmark. Their group, they call themselves the Jurassic 5. But if you didn't know, this group of rappers are all death fakers. Alright? And that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to break it down. We're going to break down who they are and what they became after they faked their death. Alright? These guys pulled the biggest trick in hip-hop history. These are some of your favorite rappers. They really tricked us, tricked the community, tricked the fans, and they really reinvented themselves. They had the nerve to reinvent themselves and still be rappers still. After they faked their deaths, they came out as another group, and we didn't even recognize them. This is one of the biggest tricks pulled off in hip-hop history. Okay? So, we're going to get into this video. I'm going to call this video, How Your Favorite 5 Rappers Faked Their Deaths and Got Away With It. Yeah, how your favorite 5 rappers faked their deaths and got away with it. If you're a hip-hop fan, please, you have to believe this after you see the proof. I know it's hard to believe. It's hard to believe what happened. But this is really the truth, and this is what really took place. Please do not doubt it, because it's the truth. It is the truth, so help me God. It is not a lie. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to prove. This is Adam Yacht, aka MCA, born on August 5th, 1964. He died on May 4th, 2012. He's from the group called the Beastie Boys, a white boy hip-hop group. He so-called died of cancer. They say he died of cancer suddenly. I don't know too much about his funeral and all that, but they was about to get a big award, and he couldn't make it to the award show because of his cancer. But it just so happens that he's a part of the Jurassic 5. His name now is Mark Pottsick. Yeah, his new name is Mark Pottsick. Here's some pictures of the Beastie Boys when they were coming up. He's the guy right there in the middle with the black and white jacket. You see he has a 33 name, MCA. You know, M and C, that's 33. MCA. He has a 33 name. So you know the one with the 33 name is always the one that has to take the fall or has to exit early in their career or exit for energy harvest. This another picture right here with Run DMC. Adam Yak, MCA is the guy on the right with the black jacket on, with the beer in his hand. I think they were the first hip hop group to be on the billboards. On May 4th, 2012, the music world was dealt a crushing blow with the news that Adam Yak, better known as MCA to the Beastie Boys fans, had passed away at the age of 47. As a member of the pioneering trio, Yak helped the Beasties meld the worlds of rock and rap together. First as a breakout rapper utilizing hard rock samples on the License to Ill album, and later revisiting their punk and hardcore roots as a blistering live act that rocked their own instruments. The inventive career led to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction just a few weeks prior to Yak's death. Yeah, so they was about to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and get their honors when right before he died. And that was tragic. So Adam Yak, the musician, had been diagnosed with cancer of his parotid gland and a lymph node 3 years earlier, and has undergone surgery and radiation treatment to battle this ailment. And while it appeared as though he had been doing better at certain points in the year since 2009, he ultimately succumbed to the cancer in 2012. At first, it was a statement from the band's publicist that read, "It is with great sadness that we confirm that musician, rapper, activist, and director Adam MCA Yak passed away in his native New York City this morning after the 3-year battle with cancer." He was 47. You see the 33 coded in this. 47, 4 plus 7 is 11. He had a 3-year battle. That's 3. 3 times 11, that's 33. Okay? All over the news, you will see he died at 47 years old from a 3-year battle with cancer. All right? That's the 33 symbolism right there. Here's some side-by-sides. These are some side-by-sides. If you look very closely, this is Adam Yak. DJ Newmark, that's what his new name is. He turned into DJ Newmark. Adam Yak faked his death. He turned into DJ Newmark. He has these pictures right here look exactly the same. If you look at the eyes, you look at the nose, the lips, everything is the same. These guys got plastic surgery, and what they did was they changed their identities. These guys are plugged in with politicians. Every person in the Jurassic 5 is plugged in with politicians. They family is teamed up with crooked politicians who run hip hop, and they use hip hop to influence the masses. Yeah, these guys are Masons, and they're plugged in with secret societies, people who are higher up. They are really high up on the totem pole. If you really look at these pictures real closely, you can see that these guys look exactly the same. All right, because it's the same person. Adam Yak is DJ Newmark. Okay, he faked his death, said he had cancer. Then he changed his whole image up and became DJ Newmark. All right, it's the same guy. It's the same exact guy. Every member of Jurassic 5 faked their death. All right. This is NWA. I guess that Jurassic 5 was supposed to be like a new version of NWA. Okay. Now we're going to get into another rapper, one of your favorite rappers. And he goes by the name of Eazy-E. Um, if you pay attention to Jurassic 5 and you look at how they're set up, this was Eazy-E checking second chance at an NWA. Remember, he always wanted to be in NWA again, but he didn't have that opportunity because Cube and Dre and everybody moved on. When he got plastic surgery and started Jurassic 5, this was his chance to do NWA all over. That's why they're set up just like NWA. Their pictures, and everything is just like NWA. All right. So we're gonna get into Eazy-E. Eric Wright, born September 7th, 1964. He died on March 26th. His new name is Mark Stewart. After he faked his death, he changed his name to Mark Stewart. Alright, there's some interesting things about Eazy-E. He's another one who was tied in to politicians. Started off a drug dealer. Alright, here go Eazy-E with the one-eye symbolism. This is how you know that the higher-ups had him doing stuff. Because there's no reason that you got these glasses on. Just for no reason, like this is a fashion statement. This is one-eye symbolism. He was told to wear these glasses like this. Alright? Because he's part of a secret society. He may be low on the totem pole, but he's part of a secret society, alright? As you can see his face, he doesn't look happy to be wearing these glasses. They told him he had to wear those, alright? His name is Eazy-E. That's another 33 name, just like MCA. 33 name. 2 E's backwards, that's 33. Alright? So Eazy-E has a 33 name also, alright? In this picture, you can see the 2 E's right next to his head for 33 in television.
District of
See it right
Compton
there.
was or is. Like, I'm not sure, you know, if it extends out in like Los Angeles. I'm not sure of that, where the division lines are. But I'm being shown a guy in a suit, a white guy in a suit. And that guy in the suit is somebody that had connections with the mother. This is at like city council meetings or talking in the community. This is a white dude. He's connected politically. He's connected in service. People listen to him. He's commanding. He's got a placid face, but underneath, he's a fuck. He's a fuck, okay? So that's my word for him. He's not, like, whatever that is, he's a businessman, and he's not a compassionate or spiritual. He was friends with the mother. When the cousin died, this businessman had a hand in that. Nobody knew it, but he did. He took the cousin out because the cousin was smart-mouthed. Period. End of conversation. Smart-mouthed, I'm taking your ass out. You talk too much. You're too big for your britches. You are boom out, okay? This businessman was somebody that people looked up to in the neighborhood or surrounding neighborhoods, okay? Dark-haired man, so dark hair, kind of like brown eyes, but always a suit and tie. Not full-on mafia looking to me, more like business. I run a local business. I do like ribbon cutting ceremonies. I talk at the Chamber of Commerce. I go to political meetings. I know so-and-so, we have drinks, that kind of dude. But underneath, he was all gangster. I'm talking about the guy in the suit. So when Eazy took over for his cousin, so to speak, that was not by accident. That was by design, perfect design, because they targeted this kid. Hear the wording. He didn't see it at the time. Had something to do with his mother saying, you know, this boy is smart. This boy can... I'm not joking you when I say that. Maybe she said it in passing conversation. We all talk about our kids. So maybe she said it in passing conversation. But whatever was said, Mr. Businessman stepped right on up and put his eye on the target, which was Eazy-E. So Eazy started doing what his cousin had done, and he didn't mouth off. He wasn't on drugs. He didn't blow up. He wasn't literally out gangbanging, like shooting people on the street, you know, getting rageful and doing shit like that. He was up here. Easy was like, how do I get money? How do I go to the next level? How do I get where I want to go? So his trip was like building. Like, I want to build this. I want to collect. I want to do this. Okay. Very Taurus-like. The Virgo was the mind. It kind of gave him the way to maneuver through it. Now, here's what's interesting. Business dude over here is the one that gave him the money to start Ruthless Records with Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. Okay. So I almost every time say Ice-T, forgive me, it's Ice Cube. It's like, duh, I know the difference, but I'm just, watching the other one on Law and Order, I just go right there in my head. But the businessman was the one that gave him the money. Okay, maybe it was a loan, maybe it was like he had 20 grand and the businessman had like 120 grand. So he's like, dude, I'll give you this. If once you get this going, you do this, this, and this. So it was pay for play for Eazy-E. It wasn't him coming up with all that money himself. Not saying he didn't make a shitload doing the dealing stuff. That's not what I'm saying. It was directly connected to Mr. Businessman who came in. I'm calling him Mr. I don't know who this guy is. I feel like he's still alive though, and I feel like he still has some kind of political pull in the world. It's hard for me to tell how old he would be. I'm assuming he might be in his late 60s, early 70s. Just by the way he looked back then, but some people, they can fool me with their age, whatever. Mr. Businessman had a lot of stuff that he wanted Easy to do and deliver. So he had a way in. And for what this guy was doing behind the scenes, which was interesting. And that's how he met his manager, that Jerry Heller guy. They're connected like that. It wasn't happenstance. It wasn't that. Jerry was brought in, do your work, wrap it up over here. That's what it was. It was very much like that. That's how I'm seeing it. I'm very strong about that. So Easy did not know what he was involved in fully. He's just looking at the big picture. He's like, I'm going to get this. Okay, that's what he's going to do. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. This is what I want to focus on. I got a dream. We all got a dream. Everybody's got a dream. So he focused on that dream, okay? And he went for it. He brought out acts like, the Black Eyed Peas and Bone Thugs and Harmony. He did that. He did his own shit. He wrote, collaborated, created. He was completely all over the place. That's his Uranus on the sun. Completely inspired, completely moving around, all of those things. However, business dude, manager dude, they got their eye. Manager dude is okay, but manager dude, very cagey. No. However, business dude, manager dude, they got their eye. Manager dude is okay, but manager dude, very cagey, knows what he has to do to keep his boy off guard a bit. So got to kind of start some triangulation shit. A little bit of a narcissist over here is what I'm saying. So he's got to start some shit between Dr. Dre, between Easy, between Ice Cube. He's got to start some shit, okay? And there's shit. It's not huge shit, but it's shit. It's crap. And everybody starts, Easy's got one direction, they've got another. And in truth, and this is what I'm hearing, at the time that Easy died, he wasn't so upset with Dr. Dre. That I don't get that, actually. But when I mention the name now, he kind of turns his head like, that's enough. Like there's a shutdown to that. There's some knowledge about who Dr. Dre is now that Easy pushes back. And it's not from back in the day when he was alive, when whatever bullshit happened. It's not from that time frame. Now, I'm going into, he's got one of his children. He had many. I can't remember what they said. Something like 11 children. That's a shitload of kids, okay? That's a lot of little souls coming onto the planet. That's cute, though. I mean, he didn't have to have them, so his figure stayed intact. No, he's kind of shaking his head with that, too, because that had something to do with the way that he felt about himself when he tells me about not being able to look at himself in the mirror, what he looked like, all of those things. But there's one child in particular, and I have no idea who it is. One of the daughters, I don't know which one, and I don't know how many he had, but one of his daughters, it was probably the one closest to being a baby when he passed. That's what I'm feeling. So maybe somebody knows who that child is. And there's a real deep connection to that daughter, as in I feel like she sees him and he hears him and feels him. That's what I feel like. Now, what he's talking about, and he wants me to word this carefully because it has to do with April 9th, 2020 and what's going on in the world and what's going on with these infections that he says are AIDS related. This is what he's saying. Same shit, different day. This is what he's saying. He's drawing me. It's very smart and spiritual too. Same shit, different day. He's drawing me a conclusion over here, I'm sorry, not a conclusion. He's showing me kind of with squares, and I'm following them in my head. I think they're little molecules is what he's trying to draw. They're lost on me. I'm blonde and a Canadian, so it's totally lost. But anyway, he's drawing these little things, and he's saying what happened to him. Same shit right now. AIDS related. AIDS related. So that's interesting because everybody that's getting this right now, whatever this is, they're not out doing things that would be, quote, an AIDS type of behavior. Like probably not the people shooting up, and they're probably not having gay sex, whatever. He's saying he wasn't gay. I didn't ask. He's saying he wasn't gay, okay? But he is saying I did what I got to do to get where I had to go. So that makes me feel like there was something else going on behind the scenes. And he's kind of saying there's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes, even in the rap world, gangster rap, hip hop, whatever you want to label it as, and or all of it combined, where these young musicians are put into positions. And he's showing me this. He's showing me a day that he was on some kind of an electrical thing here in the studio. You know, that thing where it's got all of those things. The thing, it's how I feel around the kitchen too, in the oven. I'm like, the thing that does that thing. He's showing me that, and he's sitting there, and it's basically, I think he was pretty young when this happened. I feel like he was pretty young when this happened. He was doing some kind of a, I don't know, electrical thing in a studio, working with something, eye lines in front of him. Somebody comes from behind him, and he's kind of showing me that shit happened and that there were certain things in that world, like an initiation, that he partaked in, but he wasn't gay. So I do feel he's kind of trying to tell me there could have been something that was like relationship-wise, no, not even relationship, business-wise, that required something along those lines. Now, this could have been a drug thing too. It might not be a gay thing. It might be like, we're going to put a needle in your arm kind of thing. This is not why he died. This is not why he did it. But what it is it is why he had so many kids. Because now I understand why he couldn't look in the mirror, because I thought he was cute. I mean, he was short, but I thought he was cute. Handsome, whatever. Because I couldn't understand why he kept telling me I couldn't look in the mirror. Something about the way that he looked at himself after that day didn't look right to him. So then the focus became, I'm going to climb business-wise, because then I don't have to look at myself. I just am presenting. My energy is channeled and focused this way. So he couldn't look at himself. He was perfectionistic about it and didn't like it. This is what I feel. And there's deep, heavy sighs. He worked very hard after he crossed over to get rid of the idea that what he thought and how he thought he was living was not actually what it was. He was under complete misconception about his life, even though his life seemed to be awesome, amazing. I mean, like his level of fame, his level of notoriety, his children, the girls, the cars, the money, all of that. That was great, but it wasn't really what was going on. And so there was a lot of shame around that for him.
This is Mark Stewart, Eazy-E's new identity. All right, his stage name is Mark 7. His new identity name is Mark Stewart. Okay, Eazy-E got a lot of plastic surgery. He had a lot of money, so he got one of the best plastic surgeries. See, the plastic surgeries in this group was based on how much money you had. All right, nobody would have thought of Adam Yak. It was easy for him to pull it off. He didn't get much plastic surgery. But this is a so-called picture of Mark 7 when he was young. This is a fake picture. They all have pictures of them when they was young because they're altered and photoshopped. You also can see the checkerboard symbolism right there in the picture. Okay, these guys are Masons. All of them are Masons. That's how they was able to fake their identity and come back into the public. And they don't fear anybody knowing about it. They don't fear anything, all right? Now this is Eazy-E's daughter, Henry Charon Wright. Is known by the stage name Remarkable. She's a rapper, speaker, and influencer who also acts as a tribute to her father's legacy. Remarkable also recently welcomed a baby boy on September 7th. As you can see, her name is Remarkable, like Mark 7, like Mark Stewart. Remarkable. It's not a coincidence that his daughter's name is Remarkable, because she knows her father's name is Mark 7. So in dedication to her father, who is Eazy-E, now Mark Stewart, Mark 7, she made her name Remarkable. When we listen to Sloan Bella, she really gets into a lot of things about Eazy-E and even his relationship with his daughter. She acts like she don't have inside information, but she definitely has inside information, and she pretends like she's getting it psychically. You understand? This is a picture of Eazy-E. On the left, this is a picture of Mark Stewart. I know they don't look exactly alike, but Eazy-E got a lot of plastic surgery, all right? He had a lot of money. He changed up his nose. He supposedly died of AIDS, all right? The higher ups made him the symbol for AIDS, for people to not get AIDS and to have AIDS in the news for an energy harvest, okay? That's why he died suddenly. They took him off the world stage, but he did not have AIDS, all right? He changed his identity and became Mark 7, okay? This is Eazy-E. You see the eyes. The eyes are exactly the same. The nose is exactly the same. The lips are exactly the same, okay? He got a lot of plastic surgery, but that is Eazy-E. Mark 7. Remarkable, like his daughter's name is, all right? Eazy-E is Mark Stewart. Eric Wright is Mark Stewart. Eazy Wright is Mark 7. They the same person, okay? He's in the Jurassic 5. All these guys are old rappers. That's why they call themselves Jurassic. All right? Eazy-E is Mark Stewart. Here's another side by side right here. These guys are short. They're about the same height, like 5'3", 5'4". When they perform the same way. He has that stiff little walk that Eazy-E has. All right. These guys are the same person. Okay. These guys are Masons and they changed their identity. Okay. If you had curly hair, you're gonna have a baldy. If you had a baldy, you're gonna have dreads. If you had a beard, you're gonna have a shave. They switched up everything and went opposite when they changed their identity. That's why he has a bald head, because he had curls before. You get what I'm saying? So that's what they do when they switch up your identity. They go on opposites. All right? Charlie Tuna, he had braid. Yaki Gaddafi, he had braids, so they gave him a Caesar. All right? This is Yaki Gaddafi. He was born October 9th, 1977. He died November 10th, 1996. He was supposedly shot in New Jersey. His new identity name is Charles Stewart. Mark Stewart and Charles Stewart. All right, they even using the same last names. They spelled it different, but Stewart means the same, even if it's spelled different. All right. Yaki Gaddafi, this is Tupac's right-hand man. He always been around Tupac. So it's not crazy that he died the same way. It's not crazy that he ended up in a group with him. All right. Tupac knew Yaki Gaddafi since he was born. That's one of his best friends. All right. He visited him in jail. He was with him as a baby. He watched him when Yaki Gaddafi was a baby. This is one of Tupac's closest friends. Okay. And it's no coincidence that he's a part of Jurassic 5. Once known as Young Hollywood, Killer Gaddafi, the Prince, Yaful Fula was born in New Jersey on October 9th, 1977. Born proud, he stood strong and defiant in his brief life to forces less honorable. His parents, Yasmin Fula and Sekou Odinga, were already active in the community and committed to social justice, truth, and peace in America at a time of great world upheaval. See, his parents was in the community. I'm telling you, they was hooked up with politicians and stuff. And same thing as Pop, same thing as Eazy-E, man. These guys were connected. They wasn't just nobodies. This all was planned out. All right. Yaki Gaddafi had family, a direct descendant, a very well-respected family in New Jersey on his mother's side, the Harrison Martin clan. His great-grandmother, Delia Harrison Martin, was well known in New Jersey for her relentless pursuit and representation of human rights for all people. She began her legacy in 1920 working with Newark Urban League under Bill Ashby. From there, she allied herself to all political issues of the day that affected the lives and dignity of black people, from the women's suffrage movement, voter registration during the civil rights movement, community affairs, consumer rights, NAACP secretary, health advocate, and education for all. During her 100 years of living, she received many awards and was responsible for drafting local government proclamations that directly benefited the black community. The role Yafitz's parents were playing in shaping the destiny of America vicariously shaped his life. His father, Sekou Odinga, a proud revolutionary activist, was section leader of the Black Panther Party in the Bronx, as well as other politically strong groups at the time, such as Malcolm X Organization of African American Unity. The goal was at the time, and still remains, self-determination, independence, and freedom for the descendants of African slaves presently residing in the Americas. During the FBI's attack of the Panthers under the leadership of J. Edgar Hoover and President Nixon, COINTELPRO targeted devised plots to destroy the Black Panther Party and their supporters. Many Panthers and activists were forced to flee their lives to avoid being set up. Many were underground. Some, like Sekou, fled the country to Algeria and became part of the international section of Black Panther Party in collaboration with the exiled leader. See, their parents was in politics, man. So Yaki Gaddafi, he was connected just like Tupac. All right, they faked his death. All these guys were supposed to affect the community through hip hop. As you can see, this is Yaki Gaddafi right here throwing up his Masonic one-eye symbolism. All right, you see the little triangle pyramid. He's showing the one eye, and the pictures in white and black symbolism. All right, upcoming, I'm going to show several different pictures of Yaki Gaddafi. So I want you to just take a good look, and try to compare them. All right, this is one eye symbolism right here, white and black picture, one eye symbolism. Just take a look at these pictures of Yaki Gaddafi, and you tell me what you think. 1997. His new name is Courtney Henderson. Courtney Henderson. All right. Biggie Smalls, he supposedly got shot in a drive-by, just like Tupac, just like Gaddafi. All right. It was a so-called unsolved murder. All right. It's an unsolved murder because it never happened, bro. All right. They got shot in places where there's cameras everywhere, even back then in the 90s. The places where they got shot, it's impossible for you not to get caught. All right? These guys pulled off the biggest trick in hip-hop history, all right? Now, Biggie is known for these cars right here, these drop-top old-school cars. He loves these joints. He got a lot of pictures with them, all right? He loves these cars. But so does a rapper named Fully Love, Soup Love, from the Jurassic 5. He loved these cars too, you know. Biggie was tied in. You gonna hear Sloan Bella say it. Like, the facts that she say about their lives, you could tell she has inside information because it makes super sense that these guys was tied in.
But that's what he said.
You know?
Basically showed me P. Diddy, and then he kind of morphed P. Diddy into like a scary looking dog with fangs that hang down. It's probably like some kind of animal. But anyway, the blood on the tips of the fang and the eyes with the red in them, and he showed me that. Then he showed me somebody in his organization, Entourage, that came from higher up, and he used the word pyramid scheme, higher up in the pyramid scheme, and was morphing into one of them, but wasn't one of them. Okay, so there was a mole in the bunch, or a rat, or a narc, or just a plain asshole trying to get everybody killed in the group or entourage that he had. All right, so there was that. Then he showed me a third person. 3 people are responsible for his death. One of them is a woman. I do not know which woman this is. I don't know if it was the first baby mama, the second baby mama, which was a wife, or maybe the first one was a wife too, if it was a girlfriend, if it was another girlfriend. I tend to think there was a lot of women around him, and there would be because he was a musician and he had money and he had power and he had prestige, so the women are going to come out and throw themselves at him. That's what happens. The poor men in our society. There's so many women thrown at them. Anyway, that's sarcasm in case you didn't know. But I don't know which one it is. But the woman that he shows me, okay, real cute face, serious look through the eyes, something about her forehead, and the hair is shorter. Usually, the hair is shorter in real life than what she appears out in public. And he is saying that this was somebody that he loved very much. And he is saying that she turned on him with the devil dog over here. He's saying that, and he's saying that she has spent the time since he's died, since he's passed, spent the time trying to cover her tracks, cover her face, cover her energy, cover everything up about her. She's tried to cover it all up, okay? So she is trying to not be seen for who she is, but it's not going to happen. It will turn around and she will be seen for who she is. This is what he's saying. So there were 3 people involved in his murder. I'm calling it a murder. I almost said death, but it's a murder. He got shot like 3 or 4 times. And I am seeing on the day that he passed, okay, so as I said, he's in the Mid-Wilshire district. For those of you that don't know Los Angeles, it's like Midtown. Wilshire, you're going between, I don't know, just people travel up and down there all the time. It's by the La Brea tar pits, the museum's right next door. So he would have been traveling somewhere around there. And he got shot, I believe, in the car. Now, what I found funny is he was always a passenger in the car. And I found this so funny because I'm like, oh, Virgo moon, conjunct Pluto, phobia about driving. Like, I was like, duh. Virgos have a thing with driving on the freeway, and they will drive 5,000 miles out of their way. Like, let's say they're in California and they got to go to Florida and they have to drive. They won't take a freeway. They'll take every side street known to mankind. They will go sideways. The Pluto's going to make it more of an extreme paranoia about it, but there was probably a phobia about driving for him at that time, you know, at that time. So it's interesting because he was a passenger that night and he got shot. But here's the thing. I feel that he knew about it 6 weeks before it happened. He probably got threatened all the time. I mean, hell, I get threatened, okay? So, and I'm not doing anything like they're doing. People get threatened all the time. If you cut someone off on the freeway in Los Angeles, you're going to be threatened with death, okay? If you gutter jump them coming home in the middle of traffic, somebody's going to try to kill you. And here's another real example in Los Angeles. If you cut in line at In-N-Out Burger and you don't go around the block to the 40 cars and get your ass to the back, somebody will get out of their car, because I've been in a car with somebody where they were cut off, get out of their car and threaten to kill your ass if you don't get to the back of the line. And they will be backed up by the other 40 cars. So it's not unusual to get a death threat around here. However, I feel that this is different. All joking aside, I feel that this is literally different. What he is showing me is he's showing me the beginning of his life. Like, here he is, he's, you know, the kid, he's Chris, he's Christopher, he's whatever his mom wants to call him. And suddenly he's like a teenager. And so there's somebody in his neighborhood who's like an older guy. He's probably like 11, 12, 13. So he's like a pre-teenager, or teenager, whatever, early teenager. And he wants to be all that. Okay. So he wants to boss the house, but he's a man and they always want to do that when they're little. Little men like to do this. And there's nobody really putting him in his place at the time. His mother knows everything that's going on with him, but acts like she doesn't, just so she can keep the communication open, because it's weird. The mom and him, both of them didn't really talk, but they talked a lot. But they didn't really talk about what was going on, but she knew what was going on, meaning she had an idea of what her son was doing. So he's saying he could never pull the wool over her eyes, even if he thought he was doing so when he was alive. So he's in his neighborhood, and there's a kid who's about 23 to 25 looking, skinny kid, good looking kid, young man, comes up to him and says, hey, you want to, you want to run some drugs. Okay. And I don't think it's anything heavy. I think it's like weed or a little bit of whatever, but it's not that bad. And the kid's like a cool dude around town, drives a nice car, not too flashy, good, skinny, good looking kid. In and out of town, got a couple of girls with him. So this kid, Biggie, he's like, yeah, I'll do it. And then he's going to be a man. He's going to make his own money. He's going to move. He's going to do all the things that we all want to do when we're little, when we want to get out of our parents' house or get away from a situation. He's thinking just like that. This kid that he doesn't know, that he does know now, was connected to a politician in town. So this kid was working for a politician. He's trying to show me the hierarchy of what's going on, from little kid drug dealing all the way up to hip hop music, gangster rap, whatever it is. Now, here's where it gets really interesting for me, because immediately, and the whole way we're talking, and by that I mean I'm running and I'm just getting impressions as I'm running, I'm able to be really free when I run. So that is how I like to get my information. That is what I like to do. So I have to remember it by the time I get back to the car and write it down, or I forget it. But I am very free and I'm running, and suddenly he's taking my mind to Shakespeare and Othello, and he's quoting it and he's reciting it. And I'm like, wait a second, am I in like a 10th grade English class here? Or why am I talking Shakespeare with you? He is hell-bent on letting you know that this was a big, dramatic, Shakespearean theatrical debut to see if they could put into action a plan. He is telling me this is Shakespearean theater for the masses in a rebellious, anti-society way. That is what he's showing me. And he says, if you think it isn't, think again. Shakespeare for the higher ups, at the turn of the century or whenever he was around, and the people in England. I think it's more of a British thing, right? So these huge dramatic plays. And if I remember correctly, Othello, and don't quote me on this because I really don't remember, Othello, I believe there was like conversations in the head, like going crazy, either from a ghost or mental illness and obsession. He's talking about these things, and he's talking about it in Shakespearean terms. So I'm being led down the Shakespearean theater path, and I'm listening to him, and he's very well versed at the English language, and he's very well versed and conversant and philosophical about what's going on, and very freaking direct and articulate with this is an entire theatrical show designed for the people that are not falling in line. They have to have something to align themselves with, a hook. So you've got your 9-to-5ers going to work. You've got your moms paying their bills for their kids. You've got your husbands doing I need to buy a house, buy a boat, golf on the weekends, whatever. You've got all of these things, but you have a modicum of society that doesn't fall into any of that and can see through it, because they can see through it. So how do you get them into servitude to follow the man without letting them know they're doing that? You set up a West Side Story, but it's not. It's Shakespeare is what he's telling me. He's taking it up a notch. And actually, West Side Story was probably a form of theatrical interplay from Shakespeare anyway. But he's showing me Shakespearean level, like he's taking a grand bow. They're taking grand bows. And he's saying, I was betrayed by this because I didn't know that this was what was going on. But it's very clear to him, and he keeps referencing it as a pyramid scam. This is a pyramid scam. I wonder if he means like selling, vitamins or something, but he's talking about it. So he's talking about the young kid. So he's talking about the young kid growing up who was like 23, 25. And he's talking about that kid hawking drugs for a politician, a political figure, not a huge person, a political figure. Then he's showing the political figure going to the police force. This is what he's showing me in the pyramid. So we've got the one scale here. You've got your tough kids that want to grow up fast and all they care about is earning their own money. They're basically compliant as long as you throw them a little bit extra money so they can take a girl to the movie, buy a car, buy some clothes, and they continue to do their job. So this is where he started off. This is where this is. Then you go into the political part where you have a younger man who has aspirations and wants to get to know the business world and maybe open up a business, a chain of businesses. So he aligns himself with a politician, or rather the politician in the pyramid scam aligns himself with him. This is what he's showing me. And so that guy is the one that works with this lower level pyramid and then talks to the higher level pyramid. Then you're going up within the police force. So he's showing me this, and he's showing me the higher ups within the government of checks and balances. This is what he calls it, the government of checks and balances. So I'm like, what is that? And he's like, the ones that decide who live and die, the ones who decide where we go. And he's saying the dumb ones live, the smart ones die. So I'm kind of thinking he's referencing himself and Tupac and anybody else that's been like shot down or murdered just off the cuff, just right off the bat. He's showing me this. Then as I'm going up, I'm going to somebody who I want to say is like a general. I don't know what else to say. So I'm seeing the lapel of a jacket, and this looks like a government person to me. This government person, when I zoom in on the lapel, how he's showing me is he's like zooming my mind in on the lapel. The lapel has
super fly, super good, shoulda, coulda, knew I would. Super fly, super fresh, ask your mama, she's impressed. Super fly, super cold, super mean, super nice, super clean, yeah, you know what.
a Masonic symbol on it. So he's basically telling me that this general, I want to use the word general, I could conceivably see this person as like the head of something bordering on like the FBI looking type person, telling me that they are a Freemason. So what he's showing me is it's coming from, and this is weird to hear, but it's coming from Freemason at the top of the pyramid scheme, working its way down to the controllers, down to the middlemen, down to the bottom. You're basically the way Biggie started in life, okay? So like, street hustle kind of thing. And there's a whole play, and it is Shakespearean. It is dramatic. It is intense. He's showing me this. He's gesturing in grand gesture. It is intense, and it is meant to bring that kind of emotion to the people, because if they don't bring that kind of emotion, then nothing is going to happen on their end because we are not listening to them. So each of us has the theater that we watch in life, is what he's saying. And for the kind of music that he was doing at the time and who he was dealing with, this was Shakespearean for his people, for his fans, for his base. This is what he's saying, and I can't stop saying it, so I'm going to say it. I was shocked when I heard that. No one has ever come through and said it. So he is quite well versed in English literature, history, and all of those things, but especially in the pyramid scheme that he's talking about. Now, at the time of his death, he was romancing several women. He needed to do that. That was something he liked to do. I don't blame him. You know, that Mercury in Taurus is going to do what it likes to do. I always say, what if you have Taurus in your chart? You better be damn sure that you know your person, because if they like chocolate, they're going to eat chocolate all day. If they like sex, they're going to do sex all day. And of course, he was a young man. Okay, so who at 24 really is staying faithful? Probably people should not be, because they're not going to be. But anyway, he loved women and he loved being around them. But here's the thing. Here's where the Othello reference comes in. He would become obsessed with consuming a woman around him until he was no longer obsessed. And sometimes he didn't pay attention to the energy of the woman and why he was so drawn to her, so drawn. So that Moon-Pluto conjunction was so intense with the sexual heat that he just went straight over there. And once he was locked in energetically, there was no getting unlocked energetically. There was so much of that with him. One of these women betrayed him, the one with the shorter hair, and the one that keeps trying to change the way that she is seen. So I don't know if he means she reinvents herself, she's nice, she's not nice, she changes her appearance all the time. I have no idea, but this is what he's saying. And I'm not even going to try to guess. I do not recognize the person. Now, here's where he took my mind and an ultra mind fuck while I'm talking this way. Okay, so we've got New York, we've got LA, and he died in LA, in Los Angeles, California, West Coast. We've got East Coast, and he's a member of both coasts. Okay, so he's doing what he's doing. At the time of his death and 6 weeks prior, he's showing me a meeting with a man in a suit. Not a government man, but a man in a suit. I take this to be a man that, like, is a businessman, has money, and wants to do something. This man, who I feel like I know, not a nice looking face and kind of a prick. Anyway, this man says to Biggie, I need you to do this, this, and this to keep the theater moving. The show must go on. This is what he's saying to me. Biggie is not opposed to doing things if he actually himself feels like he wants to do them. But this fucker is asking him to do something that is disloyal to him as a person. And he's not going to do it. So he declines. And he is making his move. I'm talking about probably a month or two before he died. He's making his move to become an independent person. He was way ahead of his time in as far as where he could see his money going and the strand of money. And he was going to ditch everybody around.
This is Soup Love, a.k.a. Courtney Henderson, a.k.a. Biggie Smalls, a.k.a. Christopher Wallace. All right? Biggie got big, good plastic surgery, all right? He lost all that weight. He must have got some liposuction or something. He took all that weight down. You know what I mean? He bleached his skin a little lighter. And this is Biggie Smalls right here. He wear the same Kango, same sunglasses, all right? He got the lazy eye. It's hard to believe, but that's Biggie Smalls right there, man. And he tricked us and he fooled us, man. And they act like he died. They really tricked us, man. Biggie Smalls did not die. He is this rapper right here, fully loved, Soup Love. All right? He liked the old school cars, just like Biggie with the sunglasses and the Kango. All right? They got the same molds. They got the same marks. They got the lazy eye. This is Biggie Smalls. They got the same dent in their head. This is Biggie Smalls. The same nose. This is Biggie Smalls right here, man. Fully loved, Soup Love from the Jurassic 5. Your favorite rapper faked they death, man. And that's what they did, man. They fooled us. They they heisted us for our money. They took all our money and our attention. This is Biggie right here in one of the old school vehicles right here. All right? Babe. Damn. They said this is his favorite cars, these old school cars right here. All right? And like I said, they always throw it in our face who they are. They don't care that we know. They don't care that we know that Biggie is fully loved. They don't care that we know that Adam is MCA. All right? Here's a picture right here, fully loved in the same type of old school, with the Kango, with the glasses. He throwing it all up in our face. Yeah, it's me, Biggie, nigga. Y'all thought I died, I fooled y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? Biggie is not even that dark skin if you look in this picture, man. He's really not. You know what I'm saying? So, they probably made it look like he was super dark skinned. You know, they be playing with the pictures back in the days. It was easy to fool us, man. It was easy to fool us with the pictures. Now this is definitely a Masonic ritual right here, because on the cover, number one, you could tell that's Super Love from the baby picture. And on the cover of Jurassic 5 album, he got the same afro that he had in Ready to Die, throwing it in the face. You get what I'm saying? Same afro from Ready to Die on the Jurassic 5 cover. They disrespectful. These Jurassic 5 niggas is disrespectful. As you can see, Soup fully loved with the Kango, with the sunglasses, doing the same type of poses. I know it's hard to believe, my people, but that is Biggie Smalls, man. Fully loved, man. Your boy Biggie Smalls faked his death. He faked his death, man. Gaddafi faked his death. Eazy-E faked his death. They told us he had AIDS. They lied to us, man. You know what I'm saying? These guys got the same face, same lazy eye. They lied to us, bro. Look at the picture. Same lazy eye on the left. They got plastic surgery, man. They did what they had to do. He got that fat up off him. Took some pills over there. I don't know what he did, but he got that fat up off his body. You know what I'm saying? So, look, this is another Masonic ritual right here. Soup Love and Eazy-E in funeral clothes. Come on, man. They letting you know what happened. They're looking you right in your face. Yeah, I'm Eazy-E and I'm Biggie Smalls. And we in funeral clothes. Just to let y'all know it's us. Alright? Biggie Smalls with the glasses. You can see it. You can see it in his face. That's Biggie Smalls. You can see it, man. You know? It's just they brave for coming out with a group and coming back out. The niggas is brave for doing that. Alright? Lazy eye. Alright? He didn't have a beard, so he got a beard. They always do the opposite, bro. They always do the opposite. Biggie had the smooth face. They give him a beard. You know what I'm saying?
In fact, they prop up the guy who claimed to be a part of the of Tupac. He's being rewarded with all the attention and money to speak about this, knowing he would never admit it, just for kicks and giggles.
Maybe some people should have came forward, and then maybe people just want to just say, listen here, I'm gonna leave this shit alone. If I gotta shovel shit for a living, I'm gonna eat.
I asked why were those pictures taken. The part of their lifelong script maybe, just like these fake mugshots. Look at Biggie's mugshots from the sheriff's department in Camden. Do you see the problem? Do you think they'll let you take mugshots with all your jewelry on? If you go through booking, all of that will be placed into your property and given to you upon your release. This is another embarrassingly fake photo.
From New York City right here, and he wants to tell the story of what
actually,
happened.
I don't want to tell the story about what happened because, you know, I didn't really see anything.
Okay,
you know, we just heard the you know, and basically that was it.
Biggie allegedly died on March 9, 1997. 9 days later, thousands of people lined the streets of his hometown neighborhood Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. The crowds chanted and cheered, waiting for the procession, which included the hearse carrying to pass by. The 27-year-old rapper's music played from speakers. Yes, I said the 27-year-old rapper. I believe he was older than they claim, just like Tupac.
Yeah, I can't be looking like, 21. Keep that 18.
But the procession follows a star-studded service, and of course, the actors will be the focus, but let's take a closer look. For starters, everyone close to the event is sworn to secrecy and will never go public with real information. They also have non-disclosure agreements, which are legal contracts or part of a contract that outlines confidential material, knowledge, or information that the parties wish to share with one another for certain purposes, but wish to restrict access to. To make it simple, why would they tell the public when they're making a living off of not telling you? The game is to go along with it. So everyone that was able to get close to Biggie's knew that it was fake. They are actors, and like all actors filming scenes on movie sets, they are obligated, contracted and required to perform. Pull off their role in the most realistic, plausible, moving, and authentic way possible while the cameras are rolling. We can see why their focus was on certain celebrities, as we look at this guy in the crowd who appears to be breaking down crying, yet stops to look at the camera. Then starts back crying. But once the camera goes away and comes back, he's all smiles. Another case of acting gone wrong. Actors are required to stay in character just as most of the celebrities are shown at Biggie's. They have a script to comply with and money is on the line. Sometimes from afar, the emotions look real, such as the case with Lil' Kim. We see she's acting erratic and emotional as if she's crying, but once we zoom in we clearly see it's all acting. There's not a single tear, no wet face. Nothing. Nothing. Again, nothing. Lil' Kim was the only person close to Biggie that was crying. Literally in all the pictures, no one shows anything more than a straight face. Lil' Kim is acting out more emotions than Valletta.
Last but not least, we have Tupac Shakur. Born June 16th, 1971. Died September 13th, 1996. He is now AkiltheMc, aka Dante Givens. That's his new name. That's the name that he took when he faked his death and changed his name. Alright? I guess Tupac didn't want to be famous no more, but what about the whole movement that he had? What about the whole movement that sent so many young black males to jail? Trying to be thug life, trying to be like him, trying to wild out like him, trying to spit like him, trying to go against the system like him. Alright, they always try to make Pac look like he was mad taller than he was. So when Akil came out, they made him look super short. You see how Akil is super short than everybody? But he always been that short. He always been that short. They knew they was going to pull this off from day one.
His upper teeth were also fake. The devil is in the detail. You just have to look close.
You see Tupac was the same height as Eazy-E,
too. Who was a short guy.
What they did was, they gave Pac these big heel shoes with the heels on them. Alright, so he always looked tall throughout his whole career. That was the whole trick. All his shoes got heels on them. As you can see, these pictures right here that's coming up, they all got heels on them. Alright, he always had the heels on because they knew, yo, when he fake his death, we're gonna make him come out as some short guy. They been had this plan. They had this plan for a long time. The whole Machiavelli, Tupac, all of it was planned. The Eastern Coast War, West Coast War, that shit was planned. All of it was planned from day one. Yeah, it was all planned since day one. See, back in the 90s and all that, they used to be able to trick us real easily through the media. And we wasn't on point. We wasn't really paying attention like that. But now that we older, it's a lot of technology, and we can stop and we can look at stuff as much as we want. We starting to see all of the bullshit that they pulled on us. You know what I'm saying?
Last video released under Tupac. All subsequent material released after this is titled under Machiavelli. This, in and of itself, represents the death of Tupac Shakur and the birth of the alias Machiavelli. Machiavelli is the cunning and sneaky alter ego who constantly spoke of doing everything in secrecy. This is the person you hear on the 7 Day Theory album who repeatedly talked about how his life and death had been planned out and give us a hint that his character's death was approaching. This is exactly what it means to be Machiavellian, manipulating and scheming on others to advance one's own aims. In this video, Tupac Shakur died, but lives on as a new man, one of clarity, fortitude, and calamity. He has been reborn into Black Jesus. The white that he is wearing represents purity and rebirth. He has been renewed, shed of, and cleansed from his thug persona and molded into a messianic revolutionary for the people. In this video, just as in real life, he becomes a mythologized martyr figure after his death. He has now maneuvered his way from a hot-headed thug to a prophetic visionary for the Black community. In the video, he is surrounded by Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Bob Marley, and other so-called Black revolutionaries. Post-mortem, he becomes a hero for the Black community, a prophet missed by many, and a man of God who was murdered by one of his own and halted from his mission to lead Black people into unity. The beginning of the video follows the same synopsis as the MGM Theater Vegas incident. The video begins with Tupac and his friend coming out of a theater, laughing and appearing to have a good time. Suddenly, there is a man who abruptly appears from the corner and begins shooting at Tupac. We hear screams in the background, and suddenly, an air of confusion takes over. This parallels Tupac and Suge exiting the MGM Theater, excited and amped up from the fight, when they are later impaled in a line of fire as bullets are aimed at the BMW and injure Tupac. Just as in the video, Tupac is shot up while the friend is not hit at all. Notice how Tupac is the only one who is hit and not the friend. This exactly mirrors how in the fictional Vegas shooting story, Tupac was the only one shot in the BMW while Suge missed all of the bullets. We can hear people screaming in the background, but we never see them. In other words, we never see any witnesses to the shooting, just like in Vegas. The shooter, whose identity is concealed, appears out of nowhere as a mysterious, shadowy figure dressed in black and fires the shots, aiming directly at Tupac and no one else. This represents Orlando Anderson, who at the time was unknown and unheard of, with his identity also cloaked and hidden. Orlando popped out of nowhere in this Vegas storyline. He had no publicly known relations to Death Row or Tupac at the time. He never gave detailed accounts on who he was, and never explained why he was at the MGM in the first place. Just as how the shooter in the I Ain't Mad at Ya video is suddenly introduced into the storyline, we have no background on who he is, what his motive is, or where he came from. He's just there, ready to kill. Just as how we had no background on who Orlando was, or why he was at the casino, he was just there, ready to kill. The shooter in the video is dressed in black, the esoteric color of death. The number 13 is the esoteric number of death and rebirth, which Orlando infamously wore that night. The shooter in the video was meant to represent Orlando Anderson. The EMTs are trying to resuscitate Tupac and save his life, but they notice that he is not responding and he is going into code blue. Code blue is exactly what they claim Tupac went into at the hospital in Vegas. They claimed that in Vegas, he was in cardiopulmonary arrest and that doctors had to perform a series of resuscitative efforts to get him breathing again, but they couldn't. Thus, just like in the video, doctors cannot save him and he dies.
Let the patient's DOA.
The EMTs are getting no breathing response from him and pronounce him dead. Once he is pronounced dead, the video cuts to the scene of Tupac dressed in a white suit in heaven, surrounded by other prominent black messianic public figures. This person we see in the video is the same as the Black Jesus crucified on the Machiavelli album.
Where you at? No. Where you at?
The I Ain't Mad At You video was a form of predictive programming relaying of what was to come on September 7th, 1996. This video represents the death of the character Tupac Shakur and the rebirth as the physical man continues to exist as a new person. Mind you, that this video was shot in April of 1996, released the day after his fake death was pronounced, and is also the last video released under Tupac. All subsequent material released after this is titled under Machiavelli. This, in and of itself, represents the death of Tupac Shakur and the birth of the alias Machiavelli. Machiavelli is the cunning and sneaky alter ego who constantly spoke of doing everything in secrecy. This is the person you hear on the 7 Day Theory album who repeatedly talked about how his life and death had been planned out, and give us a hint.
Like, these niggas died and came back. These niggas died, came out with a new group before we even knew about it, and had 2 careers before we even figured out that they faked their death, bro. These niggas is pulled the biggest scheme in hip-hop history, bro. Alright, they robbed us. They robbed the black community. They tricked us, and now they living square lives. They chilling. Nobody even know who they are. They get to live a free life, and they robbed the whole black community for their attention, for their money, for their time, for their support. They robbed us, and now they living like squares, acting like they ain't do none of it.
Let's take a look at Akil's reaction to this.
Like, this is my homie. I known him when he had a bald head.
Right.
Yeah. It not like that.
I got you.
You know, I'm not.
Right.
I'm not no liar. You know, he say things online. I'm not no liar. I'm not no square, and I'm not gonna make something that's not true.
Right.
Yeah.
Akil and Tupac have the same body language when they perform on stage. Watch this. But why do this?
With him, including his birth father, these people were all connected politically. Okay, so obviously they were political activists and they were politically inclined and they fought for their people and they fought for ideology and they fought to have their ideas heard and to be seen. But I'm going beyond that. They were literally politically connected. They were literally politically connected. So they were connected to different politicians and there was an agenda behind what each of them did. Tupac is showing me that there was an agenda for him that came from the government, which is really weird because he was kind of fighting the establishment. But as he's fighting the establishment, his soul is showing me that he was also connected to the establishment and there was an expectation about how he was to respond, what he was supposed to do, and how he was supposed to do things. So this persona that was Tupac also had karmic responsibility, and that he doesn't care for very much. That's like, I don't even want to deal with that. I feel like as he got going, he's kind of showing me that as he got going with his music, which he himself knew would happen, but didn't quite believe it would happen. And sometime after he moved to California is when he really got his ass kicked, is what he's telling me. He started to become the character that he was playing all the way along. So there was something that he learned here that was really part of the experience of who he was. He was pushed into this life and it was through the family and it was through the family hierarchy. So he was born into this. This is not somebody who came to it because, oh my God, they're so talented. Now, he was really ahead of his time and extremely talented and way too young to have passed away. However, his family was set to have him do this. So he was given opportunity along the way, guided and pushed, although to himself, he was unaware of this, but aware of it. So he was not consciously aware of it, but unconsciously underneath, he felt that he had a karma he had to pursue. That's why he pursued it, because I need to pursue this. So he was very aware of the feelings around him and why he did what he did without understanding that it was already set into motion, that this was what he was supposed to do. Very interesting. It's like actually kind of fascinating that he's talking about, he's showing me in steps of how it's going. So first he was born and they had to restructure the way that he felt about himself in order for him to affect the public. So he was pushed out there in order to affect the public. And this is where he says he was arrogant because he was like, a fuck you, I'm gonna do what I wanna do. So somewhere internally, that fighter came out and he didn't, and by the way, I'm going right over here as I'm speaking, talking about fighting. He's talking about Snoop Dogg and Drake, and he's talking about Coachella. Ordered hit with gangsters that were taking government money in order to align themselves and their people, the black community, in a certain way in order to have things orchestrated the way that the government wanted. Sounds really weird, but that's what I'm getting. Politically, so this was a political hit on a black rapper for a reason, in order to maneuver people in a direction to respond, and I'm seeing that. So what do you do if you want to put a hit on someone besides just mowing them down like in a third world country where they just blow people up? You kind of put a love interest in front of them, and perhaps the love interest's father is connected to the police department, who's connected to the rappers, and in the music industry connected to the political part, and you kind of all are one big happy family.
We at the end of the video now, so we're just gonna rock out with these Tupac pictures and versus AkiltheMc. Just take a look at these pictures, compare them, tell me what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section. Please let me know if you like my video. Alright? But we gotta be aware, man. You see how much young rappers be dying nowadays. Who know if they faking their death, man? Who really knows, man? Because these guys really pulled it off. Your favorite rapper pulled off a death fate, and they act like nothing happened, and they got away with it, and they took other identities and they acting like nothing happened. And everybody knows, bro. Everybody knows about this now. So it's just like we just gotta pay attention to what be going on. They be harvesting our energy They be making people die, taking them off the world stage so we could be sad about it, so they can harvest our energy, man. And we got to pay attention to what's going on in the hip-hop community, man, because they fooled us, man. A lot of people went to jail over Tupac. A lot of people dressed the way they dress because of Biggie, man. Please leave a comment, man. It's your boy.